Intermittent fasting is an eating plan that switches between fasting and eating on a regular schedule. Research shows that intermittent fasting is a way to manage your weight and prevent, or even reverse, some forms of disease. But how do you do it? And is it safe? Welcome to the Fact Check channel. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Now that we know intermittent fasting as a way of losing body fat, how exactly does the body gain body fat? Obesity is a complex issue with many causes. It's caused when extra calories are stored in the body as fat. If you consume high amounts of energy, particularly found in high-fat and high-sugar foods, and do not use all of the energy through physical activity, much of the extra energy will be stored in the body as fat. So what are calories? The energy value of food is measured in units called calories. The average physically active man needs about 2,500 calories a day to maintain a healthy weight, and the average physically active woman needs about 2,000 calories a day. This amount of calories may sound high, but it can be easy to reach if you eat certain types of food. For example, eating a large takeaway hamburger, fries and a milkshake can total 1,500 calories, and that's just one meal. As well as this, many people do not meet the recommended physical activity levels for adults, so excess calories consumed end up being stored as fat in the body. Diet and lifestyle factors contribute to development of obesity and overweight. For example, some of the most common ones are 1. Eating large amounts of processed or fast food. This is food that's high in fat and sugar. 2. Drinking too much alcohol. Alcohol contains a lot of calories. 3. Eating out a lot. Food cooked in a restaurant may be higher in fat and sugar. 4. Eating larger portions than you need. 5. Drinking too many sugary drinks, including soft drinks and fruit juice. 6. Comfort eating. Some people may comfort eat due to many other factors affecting their life, such as low self-esteem or low mood. Changes in society have also made it more difficult to have a healthy diet. High-calorie food has become cheaper and more convenient, and is heavily advertised and promoted. Lack of physical activity is another important factor related to obesity. Many people have jobs that involve sitting at a desk for most of the day. They also rely on their cars, rather than walking or cycling. For relaxation, many people tend to watch TV, browse the internet or play computer games, and rarely take regular exercise. If you are not active enough, you do not use the energy provided by the food you eat, and the extra energy you consume is stored by the body as fat. There are some genes associated with obesity and overweight. In some people, genes can affect how their bodies change food into energy and store fat. Genes can also affect people's lifestyle choices. In some cases, underlying medical conditions may contribute to weight gain. These include an underactive thyroid gland, hyperthyroidism, where your thyroid gland does not produce enough hormones. Cushing's syndrome, a rare disorder that causes the overproduction of steroid hormones. However, if conditions such as these are properly diagnosed and treated, they should pose less of a barrier to weight loss. So, why are saturated fats dangerous to your health? 1. Heart disease risk. Your body needs healthy fats for energy and other functions. But too much saturated fat can cause cholesterol to build up in your arteries, blood vessels. Saturated fats raise your LDL, which is bad cholesterol. High LDL cholesterol increases your risk for heart disease and stroke. Weight gain. Many high-fat foods such as pizza, baked goods, and fried foods have a lot of saturated fat. Eating too much fat can add extra calories to your diet and cause you to gain weight. All fats contain 9 calories per gram of fat. This is more than twice the amount found in carbohydrates and protein. Cutting out high-fat foods can help keep your weight in check and your heart healthy. Staying at a healthy weight can reduce your risk of developing diabetes, heart disease, and other health problems. Many diets focus on what to eat, but intermittent fasting is all about when you eat. With intermittent fasting, you only eat during a specific time. Research shows fasting for a certain number of hours each day or eating just one meal a couple days a week may have health benefits. Our bodies have evolved to be able to go without food for many hours, or even several days or longer. In prehistoric times, before humans learned to farm, they were hunters and gatherers who evolved to survive and thrive, for long periods without eating. They had to, because it took a lot of time and energy to hunt game and gather nuts and berries. There are several different ways to do intermittent fasting, but they are all based on choosing regular time periods to eat and fast. For instance, you might try eating only during an 8-hour period each day and fast for the remainder. Or you might choose to eat only one meal a day 2 days a week. There are many different intermittent fasting schedules. 6 ways to do intermittent fasting. 1. Fast for 12 hours a day. The rules for this diet are simple. A person needs to decide on and adhere to a 12-hour fasting window every day. This type of intermittent fasting plan may be a good option for beginners. This is because the fasting window is relatively small, much of the fasting occurs during sleep, and the person can consume the same number of calories each day. The easiest way to do the 12-hour fast is to include the period of sleep in the fasting window. For example, a person could choose to fast between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. They would need to finish their dinner before 7 p.m. and wait until 7 a.m. to eat breakfast, but would be asleep for much of the time in between. 2. Fasting for 16 hours. Fasting for 16 hours a day, leaving an eating window of 8 hours, is called the 16:8 method or the lean gains diet. During the 16:8 diet, males fast for 16 hours each day, and females fast for 14 hours. This type of intermittent fast may be helpful for someone who has already tried the 12-hour fast but did not see any benefits. On this fast, people usually finish their evening meal by 8 p.m. and then skip breakfast the next day, not eating again until noon. 3. Fasting for 2 days a week. People following the 5:2 diet eat standard amounts of healthful food for 5 days and reduce calorie intake on the other 2 days. Typically, people separate their fasting days in the week. For example, they may fast on a Monday and Thursday and eat regularly on the other days. There should be at least one non-fasting day between fasting days. 4. Alternate day fasting. There are several variations of the alternate day fasting plan, which involves fasting every other day. For some people, alternate day fasting means a complete avoidance of solid foods on fasting days, while other people allow up to 500 calories. On feeding days, people often choose to eat as much as they want. Alternate day fasting is an extreme form of intermittent fasting, and it may not be suitable for beginners or those with certain medical conditions. It may also be difficult to maintain this type of fasting in the long term. 5. A weekly 24-hour fast. Fasting completely for 1 or 2 days a week, known as the Eat-Stop-Eat diet, involves eating no food for 24 hours at a time. Many people fast from breakfast to breakfast or lunch to lunch. People on this diet plan can have water, tea, and other calorie-free drinks during the fasting period. People should return to regular eating patterns on non-fasting days. Eating in this manner reduces a person's total calorie intake but does not limit the specific foods the individual consumes. A 24-hour fast can be challenging, and it may cause fatigue, headaches, or irritability. 6. The warrior diet. The warrior diet is a relatively extreme form of intermittent fasting. The warrior diet involves eating very little, usually just a few servings of raw fruit and vegetables, during a 20-hour trusted source fasting window, then eating one large meal at night. The eating window is usually only around 4 hours. This form of fasting may be best for people who have tried other forms of intermittent fasting already. During the 4-hour eating phase, people should make sure that they consume plenty of vegetables, proteins, and healthy fats. They should also include some carbohydrates. To understand intermittent fasting better, here is how it works. During the first 8 hours, your body will continue to digest your last intake of food. Your body will use stored glucose as energy and continue to function as though you'll be eating again soon. After 8 hours without eating, your body will begin to use stored fats for energy. Your body will continue to use stored fat to create energy throughout the remainder of your 24-hour fast. Fasts that last longer than 24 hours may lead to your body to start converting stored proteins into energy. Tips for maintaining intermittent fasting. It can be challenging to stick to an intermittent fasting program. The following tips may help people stay on track and maximize the benefits of intermittent fasting. 1. Staying hydrated. Drink lots of water and calorie-free drinks, such as herbal teas, throughout the day. This can help ensure you get enough electrolytes, sodium, and potassium chloride. 2. Avoiding thinking about food. Plan plenty of distractions on fasting days to avoid thinking about food, such as catching up on paperwork or going to see a movie. 3. Resting and relaxing. Avoid strenuous activities on fasting days, although light exercise such as yoga may be beneficial. 4. Making every calorie count. If the chosen plan allows some calories during fasting periods, select nutrient-dense foods that are rich in protein, fiber, and healthful fats. Examples include beans, lentils, eggs, fish, nuts, avocado, and unprocessed meats. 5. Eating high-volume foods. Select filling yet low-calorie foods, which include popcorn, raw vegetables, and fruits with high water content, such as grapes and melon. 6. Increasing the taste without the calories. Season meals generously with garlic, herbs, spices, or vinegar. These foods are extremely low in calories yet are full of flavor, which may help to reduce feelings of hunger. 7. Choosing nutrient-dense foods after the fasting period. Eating foods that are high in fiber, vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients helps to keep blood sugar levels steady and prevent nutrient deficiencies. A balanced diet will also contribute to weight loss and overall health. So what can you eat while intermittent fasting? During the times when you're not eating, water and zero-calorie beverages such as black coffee and tea are permitted. During your eating periods, eating normally does not mean going crazy. Research shows that you're not likely to lose weight or get healthier if you pack your feeding times with high-calorie junk food, supersized fried items and treats. Intermittent fasting benefits. Research shows that the intermittent fasting periods do more than burn fat. Matson explains, when changes occur with this metabolic switch, it affects the body and brain. Many things happen during intermittent fasting that can protect organs against chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, age-related neurodegenerative disorders, even inflammatory bowel disease and many cancers. Thinking and memory. Studies discovered that intermittent fasting boosts working memory in animals and verbal memory in adult humans. Heart health. Intermittent fasting improved blood pressure and resting heart rates as well as other heart-related measurements. Physical performance. Young men who fasted for 16 hours showed fat loss while maintaining muscle mass. Type 2 diabetes and obesity. Obese adult humans lost weight through intermittent fasting. People with type 2 diabetes may benefit. Most of the available research shows that intermittent fasting can help people lose body weight and lower their levels of fasting glucose, fasting insulin and leptin while reducing insulin resistance, decreasing levels of leptin and increasing levels of adiponectin. Certain studies found that some patients practicing intermittent fasting with supervision by their doctors were able to reverse their need for insulin therapy. Tissue health. In animals, intermittent fasting reduced tissue damage in surgery and improved results. Is intermittent fasting safe? Some people try intermittent fasting for weight management, and others use the method to address chronic conditions such as irritable bowel syndrome, high cholesterol, or arthritis. But intermittent fasting isn't for everyone. Before you try intermittent fasting, or any diet, you should check in with your primary care practitioner first. Some people should steer clear of trying intermittent fasting, and this includes 1. Children and teens under age 18. 2. Women who are pregnant or breastfeeding. 3. People with type 1 diabetes who take insulin. While an increasing number of clinical trials have shown that intermittent fasting is safe in people with type 2 diabetes, there have been no studies in people with type I diabetes. In conclusion, 1. Avoid sugars and refined grains. Instead, eat fruits, vegetables, beans, lentils, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats. 2. Let your body burn fat between meals. Don't snack. Be active throughout your day. Build muscle tone. 3. Consider a simple form of intermittent fasting. Limit the hours of the day when you eat, and for best effect, make it earlier in the day, between 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., or even 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., but definitely not in the evening before bed. 4. Avoid snacking or eating at nighttime, all the time. Always remember, discipline is the key. Thank you for watching, and all the best with your intermittent fasting.